All right, here we go. All right, is anybody here yet? Well, drop me a comment in the chat if you're here. I'd like to say hi. Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Where are you all from? We'll get started in a couple of minutes here. I'm just going to give people a few more minutes to join. Thank you all for coming today. If you wouldn't mind just telling me where you're from or what your background is or anything, something that can help me give a bit more context that would be more useful to you, that would be awesome. You're in India? Pakistan? Nice. I'm in Canada. South Africa, wow. And Cambridge, the UK. Wow, we've got people from everywhere here. This is awesome. I'm flattered. Hyderabad, Atlanta. I'm not audible. Are people able to hear me? Honduras, wow. All right. You're an application engineer. Who are you an application engineer for? Digital marketing, very nice, very cool. I think this will be very useful to you too then. Excellent, thank you. Software engineer based in Phoenix, very nice, very nice. I got family in Mesa. Systems engineer, very cool. All right, well, I think we can get started here. So yeah, my name is Austin Black. I'm a solutions engineer here at DigitalOcean. I'm based out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. My background is all over the place. I've done disaster recovery. I've done InfoSec. I've been a software developer. I've worn a lot of hats in my career. So if you have any questions about anything technical in general, please feel free to reach out. And so, yeah, I'm here to talk about Magento specifically, though, and GoMage and DigitalOcean and how we work together. So GoMage is one of our preferred Magento hosting partners. And so, yeah, here's some quick tips about Magento and how to use it. And so the three quick tips that I always tell people when they're working with Magento is that first and foremost, you need a CDN. If anytime that you're working with media, objects, you want to use a CDN. It'll reduce the load on your server, it'll increase your response times, and it'll likely save you costs on bandwidth too, depending on which CDN you use. So it's really useful, and honestly, with Magento, it's actually pretty easy to integrate too. And so, yeah, always use a CDN. There's pretty much no reason not to, as long as you can. Secondly, you should always use a caching technology like Redis, which we have a managed offering of, to cache your Magento instances. Magento leans heavily on caching in order to maintain its performance. It's got multiple different options from Memcached, Redis, Varnish, et cetera, et cetera. Redis is my preferred one because, like I said, we have a managed offering for it. But in general, you really do want to use a cache with Magento and make sure that you configure your caches correctly. Last but not least, of course, a really critical thing, as I mentioned, I was in InfoSec. Nobody likes getting hacked. Magento actually offers a free security scanner tool that you can use at any time. It doesn't cost anything to run. You just need a Magento account, and they will let you just use their scanner for free. And you should be using this every time you make a major change to your infrastructure or your topology. If you add a new extension, it's just good practice to use that as much as possible. Within reason, of course. There's no point rerunning it if you haven't made any changes. And so, yeah, I'm here just to hang out and answer a few questions. If anybody's got any questions about Magento or about DigitalOcean or DevOps security, hit me with it. right. So far, no questions, but yeah, I don't know. Are people here using DigitalOcean? Do you guys like our services? Have you checked out our new storage optimized droplets yet? Someone's looking at me from the window. That's funny. There's about 3 feet of snow in that window, so if someone's looking through the window, they'd have to dig themselves out. You're into AWS? Okay. All right. Well, what else should we talk about? So Magento on DigitalOcean is actually a really, really easy thing to set up, it turns out. So first and foremost, we have a one-click image that you can go and just deploy Magento off of. And I delivered a webinar on that earlier. You can go check out a prior tech talk about that. And so what that one-click image does is it lets you just click one button. It sets up the droplet for you. It has an option to set up Let's Encrypt for SSL for you. It takes the setup time from about an hour and a half down to about 30 minutes or so. And then once you set up that one-click image, you can begin abstracting out the different layers, because with the one-click image, you just get a monolith. Everything's running on a single droplet. And then so once you have that monolith, Magento actually makes it relatively easy to break it onto a separate database layer, separate caching layer, Elasticsearch, so on and so forth. And then so from there, you can actually tune and scale each individual level. This all works really well with progressive web applications, which is what the talk that GoMage and I are going to be talking about later, which is where we effectively turn Magento into a headless CMS, which is where the device basically assembles the web page rather than being told by the server how to assemble it. And so if you have all those individually scalable layers, that makes it very easy to maintain only what you need, or upgrade only what you need to upgrade at a given time. You can scale down if you need to scale down as well. All right. Our e-commerce operation is on Magento 1, when Mage 2 looked like a hot mess. Yes, Magento is very complex. Magento is a very, very mature piece of technology, for lack of a better term. And so that's why partners of ours like GoMage, they do a great job of actually making it much simpler to work with. Their theme is very easy to work with, and they figured out all the hard parts of handling caching, handling database setup, so on and so forth for you. And yeah, it actually they're a great partner to work with, and I highly recommend them. From Mexico, very cool. WordPress and custom Laravel, very nice. All right. So leave the room open for a few more questions here. If anybody's got any questions about Magento, about progressive web applications, about what I do, about DigitalOcean, happy to answer them. Just give it a few seconds here. Let's see. Hello. Hi, Ritik. How are you? I'm doing well, thanks. All right, we'll give it a few more questions for any other questions that might come up. Right. So, glad to hear it. Glad to hear you're doing well. All right, well, if there aren't any other questions or anything, if there's, yeah, I don't see any other questions coming in through the chat right now. I'd just like to say thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for listening to me for a few minutes here. The Magento Tech Talk is on Wednesday, December 9th. That'll be me with Yuri Prutsyuk of GoMage. It's gonna be a great time. Oh, is it possible to run Mage 2 on the app platform? Not currently, but we're working towards that. Right now, stateful applications like Magento are tricky to run on app platform. But we are working towards enabling that, because that's a very, very frequent ask. How to start in data science? That's a very, very interesting question. Data science is a burgeoning field to break into right now. It's hard to get a job just as a general data scientist. Generally, you need to pick an industry that you know and know what the data needs to look like first. If you learn how to start writing ETLs and others, and learning about different technologies used for machine learning, like Hadoop, Spark, etc., or GCP's Dataflow and Dataproc, that's a good way to get started. And then if you start looking at specific industries that are heavy in data science, like EDA, for example, is really heavy on data science. That's how I would get started with it. Is DO as scalable as AWS? That's dependent, because AWS just has so many different products. Like, we don't have a Fargate equivalent. We don't have Lambda functions. But our Kubernetes offering is very scalable, and we have both the autoscaler and the horizontal pod autoscaler. So for Kubernetes, I would say yes, we scale very well, but in other areas, unfortunately, we just can't scale like AWS can. All right. And so any other questions? We'll give it another minute or two, maybe 1 minute. All right, well, it's been great being here. Thanks for listening to me. And please come check out my tech talk next week on Wednesday the 9th. Looking forward to seeing you all there. It's gonna be a really good time. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.